Hey everyone, Jeff Benyon here, and I wanted to show you a project that I've been working on lately that is an extremely simple solution that gives some really great effects. And I wanted to show you a modification that I've done with the Gobos. So as you know, when you're using an optical snoot, there's an attachment in here where you can slide Gobos in and kind of create different shapes. And you can buy these packs of Gobos. They're anywhere between $10 and $100 depending on what company you get them from, but they're basically just these little 2.5 inch or 3 inch discs that slide in between here and create different shapes as the light comes out through the projector attachment. And you're really limited in the shapes that you can get. There are a couple companies and they'll have packs that's like a 10 pack and you can get maybe 2 of them are good, maybe 1 of them's good in that pack, but the rest are just like total garbage. And no one has the exact same or the exact pack that you need with the exact patterns that you want to project. So I've been looking for a long time for a way to kind of create them myself. And I looked at different options. I tried carving it with paper. That didn't work. It leaves too much of a rough edge when you're cutting it, and also the light that comes through these, you're often using a COB LED, which is the single element, and it gets really warm. So even when I'm using the metal Gobos, you could feel the heat on those as they go through. So I didn't want to use a paper one because I didn't want to risk any burning. And same thing with plastic. I didn't want to melt any plastic. So I tried a couple different options and I ended up working with some pie tins. So I bought a 50 pack of pie tins for about $11, and the material was thick enough that it would retain its shape and I could get some really great pictures with that. So let me show you some of the pieces that we're working with here. I have a whole other video dedicated to this, but I just wanted to go over it briefly. This is the actual optical snoot. This is a Bowens mount attachment that lets you put it on a Bowens mount light. And you can see this part right here, it's got this little spring attachment and you can slide this in and it puts these little images through here, these different patterns that you can project onto the wall or onto your model. And so you can take this out and unscrew this and use different attachments. Here is the paper one that I did, and you can just see kind of it's got rough edges in here. And because the whole thing with an optical snoot is you want to have really crisp images and you get that crisp line, you can't have these rough edges. So I was looking for something that I could do that would be a little bit more professional looking and a little more usable than this. This is made out of like poster board, so it's not exactly paper. So the way this works is you've got your light here and this attaches on the end of the light. Twist that to make sure that it's secure, and then you turn your light on and it projects the images out through the lens, gives you a really focused look, and you can again create more focused looks with using these Gobos, which stands for go between. That's what Gobo stands for. It's a little image that goes between the light and the lens. So now let me show you my DIY kit on how I made my own Gobos. So I bought this bag, or I bought this box of aluminum foil pie tins. There's 50 pieces, it cost $11, and they look like this. So basically you get an X-Acto knife and you just cut around the edge like that. You have to be really careful because this is still a really thin material, so you don't want it to wrinkle. Go like that, and now you have a circle piece of foil. I got this at the craft store and it makes perfect circles. I set it to 2.6 inches, which is the diameter of the gobos that I use. So I'm just going to put this on here, and you spin this around. Do it a couple times for good measure. Make sure the cuts go all the way through. And there you go. So I now have a 2.6 inch piece of foil, and you can draw your design on here. I use a Sharpie because you can draw on it and then just erase it right off. Let me just make a design here. Now, one of the things you want to keep in mind too is when you're putting your gobo in your gobo holder, the discs themselves are 2.6 inches, but you have to take into account the room for this holder, this clamp, or this piece that keeps it down and stops it from moving. So just mark wherever your if you have a similar system. I know that the Lindsay Adler optical spot uses a different system, so just keep in mind that you can't go all the way out to the edges because you're not going to be able to see that. So I'm just going to draw a couple of simple lines here, and just take my X-Acto you can just cut through like that, and then if you want some of these lines to be a little bit thicker, then you can just cut it out and carefully pry it up from the sticky surface. And there we go. And so this is a a really rough version of it, but I have a couple here that I've created. This one is just a simple cross, or just like a little sliver of light pattern. This one is an actual cross. This is just this geometric pattern that I created. I drew this spider web, and I'll show you what that looks like. A moon. I had a witch in here the other day, so we did a pentagram. And so let me show you how these turned out.